Hey guys, this is Trace from Dub Academy. I also produce music under the name Xyan. Today we're going to be doing like part 2 of our series, and I'm going to be showing you how to do vocal chops for like your future bass verses. So here's an example of what we're going to be seeing today. And that's what we're going to be looking at. So you can see that I have like various different like vocal clips here. These are all from Splice. I was using the Heather Summer pack, and I went into the ad-lib section. So I have it saved on my directory right here, and you can see in here there is a like vocal ad-libs dry. There's also wet, but I like to start with a dry sound because we're going to be, processing them quite a bit and even pitching them up. And a lot of times you don't want to do that whenever, there's a bunch of reverb printed on the sample. You can hear them alone right now. All right. So I'm going to show you how you can make each one of these in here. So they're all going through a chain, as you can see, pretty long one. So tuner, just so I could see what notes were being hit. Little altar boy is just taking the formant down. Saturator, OTT, auto filter, an EQ, delay, reverb, and then an OTT at the end, just to kind of brighten up the tails of the reverb, and then cutting out a lot of the low frequencies that we don't need. So if you ever want to find a sample you've used in the past, you can, or that's already in your project, in your directory, you can click on it and then click on the name right here. It'll shoot you right to it. So usually you want to like click through these, and the main ones that I like to look for are like ones with very enunciated vowels, and also not really quick ones. I like for it to be sustained. If it's too quick, I end up like stretching it out. But we'll go ahead and start with this, or this one. So you can hear how it sounded processed up here. So you can see that it says it's in D flat. Our key is in B minor, which the relative major is D major. And whenever it doesn't have like a MIN or whatnot behind it, it's usually talking about major. Whenever it has the MIN, it's talking about minor. So I'm going to double click on it, unwarp it. You kind of, in my opinion, you kind of want to use your ears to find out where you want the notes to hit, not necessarily like it says 135, yes. And if I did it to 150, it would just make it really short. I can stretch it out and whatnot and just listen to where the notes are hitting. So I'm going to go ahead and warp it again. Complex Pro, it's the highest quality warping algorithm. Just stretch it out. You can hold down Shift and click the edge and drag out while warp is on, and it will warp your sample or stretch it out. So let's go right, oh man. All right, so let's go right there. So right now, unprocessed. Very weird sounding, but after the processing, you won't get a lot of that artifacting, or you won't be able to notice it. So I'm gonna go and zoom in and drag it a little bit back. And I'm going to go up 13. That'd put us in D major, but I also like to have the tuner on it, because even if you're not using the same key that's listed on the sample, if you know what notes is hitting, that's all that really matters. and you should know the notes of your scale, or at least, you know, have a picture of it to the side of you. So it's going D to A. Let's go ahead and start doing the processing. I'm going to also put a saturator on it. All right. Now put a little OTT on it before the EQ. And now I will go ahead and go for delay. Whenever I use delay on vocal chops, I do it really lightly. Probably around 35%. All right, now reverb. My reverb of choice is Valhalla Vintage Verb, but it doesn't really matter what reverb you're using. I'll do it from scratch. I usually have a starting preset I like to do, but I can go ahead and just do it from here. And I'm going to use chamber. All right. So I'm also going to put an auto filter on this, probably before these. And then I'm going to do the shaping with the EQ. Technically I could have done it with this one, but I'm just going to do two. These, because I just want these to be like atmospheric. All right, and now after the delay and reverb, whenever you're not sound designing and you're mixing, this would be kind of a rule break, but you know, we're sound designing. And also, you can break rules all the time if you really know what you're doing. All right, and just cleaning it up, just in case the OTT brought up anything else. And this is the chain I'm probably going to use for each one of the samples upcoming. So let's go ahead and look through these again. And I'm going to choose the ones probably close to where they say they're in the same key, because I'll probably get the same vocal texture for whenever I pitch it up.
Hey, 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 ooh, la-di-da. Oh.
Let's see what else we got in here.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
All right, so that's what we got to work with pretty much.
Oh. 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 La-di-da. Oh. Hey. 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 Hey.
I'm going to use this one. Let's go ahead and rewarp it. Complex Pro of 13. All right, I like that one. Maybe we'll use that one for like this transition. And I'm mainly going like, you know, where the chords are kind of changing. At least for this one. And this chop isn't going to sound exactly like the one I made up here because I'm doing like different, you know, samples and rhythms, but should still get the concept across. sure that's muted, so. All right.
Hey, la-di-da. Hey, hey, oh.
Ooh, I like that last one. I'm actually going to use that one for this transition. Oh, for this one. Because it sounds like it's going from the 7 to the 6, and in minor, that would be like the 2 to the 1. Just bring it back. I'm gonna go ahead and fade it a little bit. And then that one, I want it to go like 1 to 7 or 3 to 2 if you're talking in minor.
Hey, 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 ooh, ooh, la-di-da, oh.
Yeah, that one's good. Unwarp, rewarp, up 13. And I'm gonna look at the tuner. So I'm gonna take away the B that it's hitting. Let's go ahead and stretch this out. All right, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and add fades. Let's hear that. Maybe I'll mix it in a little bit more. All right, down. Alright, for the sake of the length of the video, I'm just going to copy and paste. But whenever you're doing this yourself, probably take a little bit more time, trying to build out the melody and find different textures and notes. I'll fix these. Another thing I like to do to really kind of make a bed for the vocals, I don't do this every time, but sometimes in the old example you could hear this sample. Just a constant drone of whichever note I'm wanting. In that case it was the major 1, or if you're talking in minor, the 3. So for there, we can just find more of the sounds that's droning the 1. Yeah, so that one should work. I even do this trick that I'm doing right now in my drops to layer in with the saw stack. Alright. Reverb. I turn it up quite a bit. Turn this up quite a bit. Put on high quality. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take the same kind of EQ curves I had on these, and maybe even the saturator. I'm going to go ahead and let a little bit more of the high frequencies in. And I'm going to put an OTT at the end. And then a cleanup EQ. Probably tame that resonant right there. Alright, and now the trick with the reverb is if you then hit freeze and then unclick cut, just a constant drone. So you can then freeze and flatten that. And you'll probably want this mixed pretty down. Let's cut it where we don't need it. And let's turn it down. So one of the reasons I had the auto filter on this is just in case I wanted to automate some high frequencies in for certain effect. So on this last one, that leads us into kind of where you get ready for the build part. We can actually ramp up this EQ. And you can even ramp up the reverb right there. Things like that. All right. So that's the lesson for today. I hope you learned a lot from it. If you want to see anything else that I've done in this project so far in the series, please drop down in the comments below. We're going to take a look at that. Thank you very much.